Hey, what's up, Plus Ultra fam? It's me, Plus Ultra Man, and today it's time to take a look at what happens in the 7 years that take place after the Neo Demon King Saga. In the wake of Piccolo's defeat, things soon returned to normal, though Raditz was still strongly apologizing to Gohan for his behavior. He explained that he was just so sorry, and that he was ashamed of himself for still being a damn coward after all this time. He shouldn't let his fear control him, but he couldn't bear the thought of losing Snake or Zuccho. That said, it wasn't an excuse to put all that pressure on Gohan. To his great surprise, Gohan only shakes his head understandingly and hugs his uncle with his good arm. Gohan chuckles and agrees that that was not Raditz's best idea. But he had also helped a really important lesson sink in along with Piccolo. Gohan had to be his own man. But to Gohan, he kinda thought that being a man could mean making mistakes and learning from them and coming back stronger. That's kinda what Saiyans did, wasn't it? Everyone's just astounded at how grown up Gohan seemed. And it just made sense. Ever since his uncle had drugged him and his father up in space to Namek mission, and now the fighting with the androids, and then Piccolo, Gohan hadn't really made his own life choices. So now that he really is, it seems like he has a lot of wisdom beyond his years. Yeah, Gohan is still a kid, but he's done a lot of growing up. Raditz was supremely proud of the man his nephew was quickly becoming, as was Goku and Turles. From here, the Neo Demon King tournament arena was destroyed, and the Z-Fighters, Nail, Bulma, and the reprogrammed androids gather up on the lookout to make a new wish. Luckily, there aren't really any wishes that have to be made other than reviving anyone that died in the attack on South City by the androids and the victims of Cell, before he had died at the hands of Vegeta. The androids really have nothing to do now, and so Bulma invites them to come, live, and work at Capsule Corp. Studying 17 and 18 cybernetics could maybe advance Capsule Corp's medical studies by leaps and bounds, and 17 and 16 could be good training partners for Vegeta to keep him busy. Now, I could honestly see 17 accepting on the condition that he gets to test out new and dangerous Capsule Corp vehicles. The faster, the better. 16 would probably be indifferent, and 18 claims that she really isn't interested in that. She then thumps Krillin on the forehead for staring at her, and explains that she'll be going with him, since she found him pretty cute, and she thinks he'll be fun to mess with. Nail decides he will journey up to the lookout to act as an attendee to Earth's Guardian as he used to on Namek before he fused into Gast. And the rest of the Z-Fighters will do what they did pretty much in canon for the most part. And from here, the next few years begin to blend together as Earth enters its most peaceful time that it has ever been in. Now of course, the pure-blooded Saiyans have all kept up their training. Goku, Raditz, and Turles and their families decide to live together in one big house. This eats up a big chunk of Ox King's funds, but the renovations are made, and Goku begins his new farming business. Now that Goku's tiny home is suitable for 3 families, it's common to find Goku, Turles, and Raditz training in the mornings. Remember that Vegeta and Goku have a really good relationship with this timeline, so it isn't rare to see him joining in as well. 16 was a strong partner, but after every good sparring session, he would need repairs and improvements, which took time on Bulma's part. His calm demeanor would also bug Vegeta sometimes. Because of this shared close contact, their families are also very close. Gohan has stopped training for the most part to focus on his studies, though training had now become a really fun bonding activity in his family, so sometimes he would do it with everyone. The second son of the Song family, Goten, had been born and had grown up with not only the influence of his father and brother, but of his uncle Turles, Raditz, and even his cousin Zuccho. When Goten is born, Zuccho, Gohan, and Goten form a very similar relationship to what Goku, Turles, and Raditz now have. They act very much like 3 brothers. So in this timeline, he's definitely not Trunks' lackey, and Trunks might be a bit more focused on training since it was just what his father focused on. While this timeline's Kid Trunks does develop a really friendly rivalry with Goten, the rivalry he will soon develop with Zuccho is much less so. Zuccho is a very precocious kid, but you saw the title and thumbnail, so we'll get back to him. Trunks' relationship with the now 10-year-old Zuccho was strained at best. You see, because of Zuccho's unique biology, as well as being a year or so older than Trunks, he just has the edge in strength, just a little smidgen. This also gains him all the attention of the adult Saiyans. Being a part of Zarbon's race and the Saiyan race had given Zuccho a very strange transformation. Not only could he become a Super Saiyan at a young age as Trunks and Goten can, but there was something on top of it. His muscles could bulk up a bit further than what was normal for a Super Saiyan, and his hair would grow a little more wild. His nails would elongate, and the buff and power was only so large, but it is very noticeable. Vegeta and Raditz, when discovering this, dubbed this offshoot of Super Saiyan as a monstrous Saiyan, some kind of fusion between the monster transformation of Zarbon's race and Ozaru, as well as the Super Saiyan form. Now, full disclosure here, I've never really thought of a solid multiplier for this form, I'm walking a tightrope here because I don't want to make Zuccho some Mary Sue, but at the same time, I want this to be a worthwhile boost for him. I think Zarbon's transformation only makes him like 1.3 times stronger, and I don't want to give Zuccho a full 10 times from the parts of this that are a part of Ozaru. So maybe his Super Saiyan is worth a 56.3 times multiplier, and if you guys have any good ideas, then definitely let me know down in the comments below. Raditz is extremely proud in his son, and very intrigued in this power he has, while Vegeta was just as intrigued, and wanted not only to see this power of Zuccho pushed to its limits, but also to push Trunks to further compete with the older boy. And this is the root of Trunks' resentment towards Zuccho. And because of this, Zuccho very quickly comes to resent his father, and in a way, the world. See, Zuccho is the only person that has to deal with looking different from all the other normal humans around him. Yeah, we used to have the animal race people that looked really different like the Dog King and Oolong, but these character designs slowly slide out of the series, and it quickly becomes to be more, human looking character designs. So all the civilians and background characters are very homogenous. So seeing Zuccho's blue skin, reptilian eyes, and freakishly long orange hair always gets him stared at and whispered about. Zuccho's mother, Princess Snake, would also be looked at this way, but she didn't seem to care. She had spent a long time in Otherworld and had been stared at before. In her own words, she was just too mature to let the opinions of men that were not named Raditz affect what she thought of herself. So in that, Zuccho loses a lot of solidarity in his mother not really sharing his plight. This all culminates in Zuccho finally rebelling. He actually goes to Bulma and asks for the Dragon Radar, and when she does not give it to him, he steals it and spends the day collecting the Dragon Balls. Once done, he uses his one wish to ask Shenron to make him look like everyone else and allow him to maintain his powers, and the wish is granted. When Zuccho finally returns home, Raditz and Snake are furious at him.
What are you thinking, Zuccho? You can't just change who you are!
But it isn't fair, Dad! What would you even know about what it's like to look different? Uncle Goku, Turles, and you all look normal. So do my cousins, and Trunks, and he teases me all the time. I just want to be normal!
Okay, first off, have you seen my hair? Secondly, this is not about how people look at you. This is about how you deal with your problems. Not to mention that by trying to look like somebody else, you're rejecting your mother and how she looks. I used to be a coward, son, so I ain't raising one. From now on, you and I will train every day until Shenron is ready to grant a wish, and then you are going to change rights back, young man. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. And so, 1 year of very rough training took place for Zuccho. Afterwards, his power had grown, and so had the darkness in his heart. Raditz tried his hardest to bond with Zuccho and understand his plight, but he was a Saiyan, and his emotions were always hard to grasp. He had learned from his debacle with training Gohan and had done his best to try and help Zuccho express those negative emotions and have an outlet for them. He even tries to help Zuccho center himself through meditation, but nothing seems to work. Zuccho is just too hung up on his appearance to move past this. As for the other characters, as many people have predicted in this timeline, Turles finally finds love in the form of Launch. Though it is definitely one of those playground relationships where they bully each other to express their attraction to each other. And it is a very new relationship, only having taken place about a year ago, meaning that Launch has not even had a child yet. Also, remember that Piccolo didn't present himself to the world as Cell did. No one knew of Piccolo's threat to the Earth, so Hercule becomes the champ, but he isn't as well loved, and his daughter Videl will likely grow up without the same amount of training, and as such, she might not become a crime fighter. It's possible to argue that she would, but this would also mean that if Gohan does attend Orange Star High School, which he likely would, and begin crime fighting, Videl likely wouldn't care too significantly. There's no real rivalry between them there, but I do think that they would be attracted to each other just because of who they are. If this were to happen, then Gohan would never be pushed into the tournament by Videl, and because of this, no one else really enters it. I believe that at some point, Supreme Kai would approach either Goku or Kami and Neo on the lookout to ask them for their help in a coming problem, but that's where I'll leave the story off for right now. And before I go, I have a few questions for you guys. Number 1, have you enjoyed how fanfiction-y this scenario has gotten? Number 2, would you like it to continue on that trend or be a bit closer to canon? Number 3, how do you feel about the relationship of Turles and Launch? Very curious about that one. These will all be polls in the iCard. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm a very fun follow, and I give you guys tons of updates and previews there, and join the Discord. Both are linked in the description. And you should definitely go subscribe to my buddy Mondo Cool, because he does a lot of manga dubs and voice acting. If you enjoyed the video, then please like and comment your thoughts. It really helps me out. Oh, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Shout out to the patrons, Lone Wolf McQuaid, Treb, Pizza15X, Nuggles OX, and Robert Smith. Please consider joining them by supporting Plus Ultraman on Patreon. And finally, be sure to take care of yourselves and always go beyond plus ultra. See you guys next time.